couple of dwarves stand on a giant man's chest. The giant's eyes widened. He realized that his body was tied with ropes. He was surrounded by many dwarves. The giant man shouted out in astonishment. The stakes were pulled out of the ground, and then the rope snapped. Several dwarves were thrown into the air. The giant man stood up. He stomped on the dwarves. One of them threw a spear at him, and it stuck in the giant's foot. Several more threw ropes at him. The giant's pants were hooked off. Then he fell to the ground. The giant fainted from the pain. Then the giant man was tied to an iron bed. There were many dwarves around him. They were curious. They all flocked to see the giant. The giant was brought to the king and the princess. He was treated as an intruder. The giant was locked in a cave. He had to do hard work outside every day. The giant was dragging a heavy implement. But one day, the enemy attacked the castle. They kidnapped the princess. The giant man was released. The dwarves asked him to rescue the princess. The giant man's head appeared before the princess. His big hands pinched his enemies and threw them into the water. The princess walked into the giant's hands. The giant sent her safely back to the castle. And just when everyone thought everything was all right, there was a big fire in the castle. The people panicked. The giant ran to save the king. He reached through the window, but the fire burned his hand. The giant shook his hand in pain and saw the king trapped in the burning room. And then the giant pulled down his pants, and a long stream of urine poured out. A lot of urine poured on the fire, and it poured on the people as well. And the fire was put out finally. The king was very happy. The dwarves cheered. The giant became a hero to everyone. One day the king gave the giant a feast and ordered a villa to be built for him. The giant enjoyed the sunshine and the coffee in the villa. Even when he went to the movies, the giant sat in the VIP seat. The giant man was in the water, lapping frantically at the water. He was surrounded by warships. The enemy fired bullets at the giant. Countless bullets hit him in the stomach. He wasn't hurt at all. The giant's belly reflected the bullets back. The enemies were knocked to the ground. The giant realized how powerful he was. The king praised him. The giant grabbed the rope in the water. He yanked it forward. One of the biggest ships of the enemy is tilted down, and it fell to the water. Then the giant man used his two big hands and pulled the other ships forward. The king applauded him. The people cheered him on. Once again, he became a great hero in the land of the dwarves. The giant played with the dwarves in the castle. He played foosball with the dwarves in the castle, and the king cheered him on. The giant man was very happy in the castle.